Jack laying half naked underground, bitten by a rattlesnake he bought from a traveling circus before it went down. He was honoring Jesus with his rattlesnake dance. Lord, couldn't you have given him one more chance? Bewildered Mary was part of the congregation too. She came flying down into the valley one day on a pale white horse with burning hooves. That's strange, said Reverend Jack. I didn't expect revelation to come so soon. Let's use that to enhance our message while we're pushing through. While we're pushing through. One late November night, there was a knock upon the church house door. Standing in the acid rain was a figure in black none of them had seen before. Oh, is that you, Gabriel? Reverend Jack said. Would you like to come inside? Nah, my name is actually Satan, figure said. My business been going down for a while. So the three of them sat down in the dim, sharing a bottle of warm soy milk. Satan's eyes on Mary, caressing like soft Japanese vintage silk. I came here to end you, Satan said, and laughed in a peculiar way. But thing is, after having seen your game, I really don't know what to say. Don't know what to say. Don't know what to. Ooh, don't know what to say. You've been running my show way more efficient than I ever did. I don't know how you do it, but you have some real guts. Heaven forbid. So I decided to leave it to you, and hell, I'm your biggest fan. You know, devilish fires ain't nothing to your systematic extermination plan. Devilish fire. So, 1995. Devilish fire. So here we are, Reverend Jack on the ground, snake bitten and cold. How is it gonna go with apocalypse now when Mary's left to herself and alone? She took off into the city on the back of her pale white horse, on fire, pressing on for Armageddon to come. Satan, just a regular dude by her side. By her side.
If you're not making up to $158,000 a year, you should be anyway. All right, welcome to Three Conservative Gimps, where we give you the information you need to make a valid or a good choice at the ballot box. So I hope you all like that music. I'm kind of grooving to that music. Yeah. Ah! Anyway, let's get this show going. Let's welcome my good friend all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Let's welcome Lloyd Mendenhall. And he's don't know what happened to him because I see a picture of him, but I think he's frozen. So I will remove him and we will put in Charles. Hello, Charles. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Art, everybody in the chat.
Yeah. So, how's the weather in your neck of the woods?
Very gray today.
Very
Lovely
gray.
temperatures, but very gray and gloomy.
Gloomy. Well, it's sunny and hot. Now it's clouding up. Maybe we'll get some afternoon rain to cool us down. We've been in the mid 90s today. So, went out and did some fishing at a little pond that's only maybe a couple miles from my house, and met one of the guys from the flight club, and haven't been doing anything with him for a while. And Daryl and I decided. He said, "Hey, there's this place." I'm like, "Oh, cool! It's really close to my house." And so I went over there. I got there at 6 a.m. and it was beautiful out there. Beautiful sunrise. And let's see what Lloyd says. I bet his internet probably went down. So he's going to try his iPad. Yep. So anyway, so sat out there, got a couple rods out, and Daryl caught the only fish. He caught a nice size catfish, about 16 inches long. It was nice. That was about all we left, and then all we caught. We all left at 10 o'clock. It was just starting to get brutally hot out there. And then I found out one of our friends, Jordan Dopp, he's part of our trio. There was an RFK rally going on in Old Town Arvada, which was not very far from where we were. And Jordan's trying to talk me into going to that. I'm like, no, he's still too left of center for me. All right, let's welcome him. He's back on his iPad. Let's welcome.
Yeah, let me switch over to my cellular first.
Okay.
I should have done that.
We hear you, but no picture.
Yeah, that's fine.
There you go. All righty. Oh, now you're flipped over on your side. Watch it like this. There you go. And, there. Oh, what the heck is going on? Technology again.
It's just.
I feel like Donald Trump and Elon Musk have.
Yeah.
We could talk a little bit about that as well. So everybody who, this is our neck stretching exercise. So if you tilt your head counterclockwise, you can see Lloyd a little better.
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to
Charles doesn't have to worry because he's always got his head like that. So, he's gone and he'll be back in a sec. So Donald Trump and Elon Musk had an interview on X, and oh boy, it got all the libs in a Twitter, you might say, and it's like, well, did you guys even listen to it? I mean, they talked about some really good ideas. And Musk did a good job interviewing. He's back. Let's see if he's stable now.
I'm not saying anything or I'm not moving. So
Okay. All right. Well, we hear you and you look good. Yep. Let's see. So we were talking about the Elon Musk Donald Trump interview on X. So Lloyd, did you catch any of it? I caught little snippets here and
I may
there.
have heard a soundbite here and there, but I've slept since then. So I know they had it took them an hour to get it set up because it's
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, they were having technical difficulties like we are, you
yeah,
know.
old people have problems with that shit.
Yep, that's right. Well, remember back in the day when I was first doing, live streaming?
Oh yeah,
This was before StreamYards. I can't even remember what we were using, but
a Google Connect or something like that. It was
something like that. But
yeah,
the video was terrible, and
yeah.
it's just then once StreamYard came online, and it got better and better over time.
Yeah,
We got
yeah,
more features added to it, and made it a much better platform, I think. Where I think we were using OBS on some other
we were
platform.
we would use OBS as a background thing, but we were also using most everybody when they were doing like multiple panels.
Right,
Google had a program and they shut it down, you know,
right,
but it was very similar to this here. It wasn't as sophisticated, but it was very similar in how it connected. And that's
right.
when Gage and the other guy started StreamYards to pick up the slack.
Ah,
And Mel and I actually had Gage on his show one night to interview him when this was in early days, you know. Of course, they've
cool.
since sold the company and somebody else owns it now. Big corporate,
Mhm.
big world corporate group owns it now.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, there's that going on, and and I couldn't believe that Washington Post reporter at one of the the presidential press conferences, where John Pierre
Right.
Prince, whatever her name is, he said, "Well, is there anything you could do to stop
Stop
this
that. Yeah.
information?" I'm like, really? That would go very, very
If the
unconstitutional.
Washington Post was doing it, he
Yeah,
certainly wouldn't want it done, you know.
right.
So
Hmm.
yeah, that was probably they're just the idiocy that is coming out of the left right now is just
Right,
you can't write Hollywood could not write this crap.
right. And it's gotten to a point where if you got a different opinion or a different idea to run the country, it's called disinformation or hate speech.
Yeah.
And how can you have a dialogue with people that think like that? It just and it just seems to drive a deeper wedge within the country, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not just here. I mean, look at the riots that's been going on in London, you know. There's there and it's just it's we're at a right now. I feel that not just our nation but the world itself is at a tipping point,
Right. Hmm.
and we're going to have to we're all going to have to tread softly. And you and I discussed it for a little bit, but I see it in everybody. Everybody is getting tense
Yep.
about the situation, and I think it's flowing over into you know our day to day dealings with people, and it goes back to that. When at the end of the day, we're all one race. We're the human race,
Right.
and
Mhm.
we've got to keep that in mind. You know, we can't put ourselves down to the you know, in trying to save the world, we can't lose ourselves. In trying
Right.
to save our nation, we can't lose ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at what's going on over in Europe, especially in England, where
England,
well, you
exactly.
can't say that, you know, and it's like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
You
That
know?
was exactly who I was thinking of. They've
Yeah. Because Steve Knowles was kind of bringing up that point.
yeah, 2 years for hate speech.
Yeah.
And they arrested here just I don't know, earlier this year, or maybe it's in the last year or so. They arrested a grandmother for something because and she was holding up a sign that says praying for the country or something like that. And they
Uh-huh.
arrested her because they said she was showing hate speech or something. And she actually hadn't said anything. She was just standing there saying a prayer for the country.
Right.
And the sign says, "I'm praying for our country." And they classified that as hate speech.
Oh, and Ronnie said that they arrested a guy in America for sharing a meme.
Yep.
Wow.
It's
I
getting
mean,
it's getting very, very tense. We're, as I said, we're on a tipping point. You know, I like to watch these end of the world movies, you know, natural
yeah.
disasters and meteorites and all this stuff coming in, meteors, and uh it's always, you know, doom and gloom and stuff, but and it always seems to be we're always on that tipping point of humanity, you
Yep.
know. And you know, is it going to take a great natural disaster, world disaster, to bring us together to, you know, have some commonality? We've got factions that are, they could care less if the humans survive. They would just soon, if we're not going to follow their plan, then let's just not have anything. And I think
Right.
what we're looking at with the socialist and the I mean this yeah, I mean, they're in Chicago. It's been since they haven't been back there since '68, and that was
Right.
a disaster. And I right now, what I see with these protesters there, uh,
Right.
there are all sorts of scenarios there
Mm-hmm.
that are not looking good.
Oh boy. Yeah, I haven't been hearing a whole lot of what's coming out of the DNC other than Kamala's radical economic plan. You know, like price controls.
Right.
And I saw an interesting video just before the show where they were talking about she wants to put price controls on food and beef corporations.
Yeah.
But she doesn't realize, you know, the thing that is the driving force behind what's keeping the price up is power.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's oil. It's oil and natural
Well,
gas, and because they, you know, Joe Biden and cohorts had decided that, oh, we're going to cancel Keystone Pipeline, and we're going to stop, you know, allowing people to drill on federal land. So what they did was they put so much regulations on the producers, the oil producers, that they said, oh, screw it, we'll just do with what we got, and maybe the price will go up high enough to where we'll make some money, and because
well,
they can't do anything about it, you know.
the thing that's driving the high cost of food in general, you know, and she's wanting to go after these beef producers. First off, almost all beef is, you know, beef producers now. There's only like 4 or 5 major producers.
Yep.
They're corporations that have gone, like ConAg is one.
Yep.
They're a big one and they've been around for 20 years. ConAg's been consolidating, like they own Butterball turkey farms. I know that from when my son was a manager of one of the butterball farms,
Mhm.
and it's a business. It's but when you add in the cost of fuel to run a tractor,
Right.
to plant grain, the cost of harvesting grain.
Fertilizer.
Yeah, the cost, you got to buy the fertilizer,
Packaging.
and you've got to just feeding the animals,
Mhm.
and the stuff involved with that, and the
Mhm.
cost of it, and then the cost of transporting and
Transportation, refrigeration.
the farmer
Pro-
or the cattle rancher, they're not making scads of money.
Oh no. Yeah.
It's reverse, what was that?
Osmosis.
No, it's the was it Reagan that used that term? The
Trickle down.
Yeah, it's a reverse trickle down, except it's trickling up. They're trying. The profit margin is so small down here because they've got such a huge amount of costs. You try raising one beef calf and see what it costs.
Yep.
I mean,
That's
starting, especially if you don't have your own herd and you have to buy, go to market and buy it. Then you got go there, buy it, load it up, gas getting there, gas getting back. Then you got to have a place to put it. You've got vaccines that's got to be done. All of that stuff, just so that we can have a hamburger at McDonald's.
Right. And price controls have never worked.
And they won't.
Yep. And
because they're going to try. What they're going after is the profit of the Walmarts that sell the beef, or Con Ag. They're going to go after that, but they're not going to get to the initial cost, and that's the energy cost, the transportation cost, the cost of seed, the cost of doing business. They're not going to get to any of that.
Right. And she wants government to get in with home builders to build more homes. Oh, what could possibly go wrong there? That's just going to add more regulations.
Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae
or what's the name of that corporation that's buying up a lot of properties? BlackRock.
Yeah.
So go after them. How about getting rid of some regulations that's adding to the cost of building homes? It's like these guys have no idea of how economics works.
Yeah.
And you try to explain it to them, and they won't listen. It's like they put their fingers in their ear, going, no, I'm not going to listen. No.
Yeah. Our it's really it's just a sad situation that we've got, and her policies are going to destroy the country. They really will.
And they don't want to fix anything, because if they fixed it, then they'd be out of a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and I hate to say this, but even some Republicans don't want to totally fix everything.
Yeah, they don't want to fit. They've got jobs, and as long as we need them to fix something, well, they're going to always be there, because we're going to reelect these people so that they can fix the problem, which they're the ones who created the problem in the first place.
That's right.
It's a vicious circle, but we're stuck with it until we decide we've had enough and do something different.
Yep.
And
Ronnie makes Ronnie makes a good point. Can't control drilling, shipping, storing, refining, buying. Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I apologize. I can't see the chat.
So what they really ought to be doing is getting rid of regulations that are holding back the oil producers,
Well,
allowing them to, drill on, federal lands, especially Alaska. Alaska's got a crap ton of oil up there, and
the United States when everything was said and done, the United States has a far larger oil reserve than the Middle East.
yep, that's right, because
And
Middle East, most of their oil is surface oil,
right.
not very far underground. Our oil is like, way down there, and you know what they're finding out is a lot of these wells that they thought were dried up and they capped, they're going back and wow, there's oil there. I think this planet continuously produces oil.
Yeah.
And I think it'll get to a point, and it will happen, to where oil production will outstrip the replacement of the oil back into.
And that's something. But that's, to put it bluntly, it's not my problem. I won't be here when that happens. But that also gives us the time to start building towards, real renewable energy, real sustainable energy. There's
newer technologies, newer sources of energy, like fusion, and we are really close to getting there. Yeah, because they've actually had some instances, I think, in Japan, where they were able to get a sustained reaction going for a few seconds.
Yeah,
so that's that's a start.
But before we have probably at least a couple 100 years before we've outstripped that. And in 100 years, look where we've come just in the last 100 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now that we've got now that we've got newer technology, just look what we've done since Apollo 11, and look at the things that are going on there in space. Within 100 years, we'll probably have fusion, and we'll probably have energy systems that run on renewable or sustainable and but trying to convert everything at once is not a financially, fiscally, it's just not viable, because I can't afford to trade in my van for a $50,000 or $100,000 or an $85,000 electric car that in 4 years I got to spend another $50,000 replacing batteries, until we get, even Elon Musk says, we're not ready for that yet. We're not, this is a start, but that's why he's constantly working on new battery sources and trying to find, more, just look where we've come just in our drone community and the batteries and just now there's other things besides LiPo batteries that can run our motors, and they're coming out with new ones all the time, and I think that at some point we'll have that, and the same will go with the cars, and now and they got to get costs down. Right now, it costs so much, and we have to get, like with the lithium, that's expensive, plus it's caustic, it's not safe for the environment, which is what they're all about. It's all about the environment, but they're using stuff that's not safe for it.
And it takes energy
to produce.
To get those
batteries have to be charged. Well, you got to have fuel to run the mining equipment. You've got to have. It takes fuel that runs the generating stations that charges those batteries. Yeah, no, it's we're not even close. We don't have the infrastructure set up for that yet, and we need to. So we need to stick with what works.
Right.
Not discontinue development, but cut back and let's get, and that will get our economy, I think,
Right.
started. In which right now it's so expensive, nobody can afford to get into any more development because there's no. Right now, there's just no profit for it. It's too expensive. So we don't have any new innovation because nobody can afford to innovate right now. Okay, I'll shut up for a little bit.
Well, what I was going to say is just before this show, there's a social media influencer that bought a Kia electric car, and this person, when she or he got it home, then suddenly realized, oh, it's going to take 72 hours to recharge that vehicle at her home.
Right.
And oh, holy crap, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's just not sustainable. I mean, it's
right.
Not. I just saw something pop up a minute ago, and it threw me off. Something about Antifa is going to burn down the DNC, which, are these Hamas protesters there? They're pro-Palestinian protesters. Are they? I think some of them are the same people that wore the Antifa mask here.
Yep.
A year ago.
Probably. Yep. I'm going to share something that Ronnie just sent, and I think this is something. I think Bob Casey does something like this. So let me. Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the stars are made with the bottom end of shell casings. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think Bob Casey does something like that.
Right. He does. He does.
So I am going to. There's one of them that is a 308 Winchester.
Yeah.
Bullet, and that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That is very cool.
Thanks for sharing, Ronnie.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's what's going on. And we got the DNC. How long is that? Is that through the 23rd? I think it's the 23rd is.
Yeah, I think so. I think Thursday night. I think Thursday night is their final night.
Oh, tonight is their final night?
No, Thursday night. They
Thursday
haven't started
night. Okay.
Tomorrow night's the official opening. I think it runs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Ah, I see.
Now they may have started tonight, but as far as I know, they start tomorrow. So they're just getting all their ducks in order. They may have some opening speeches tonight there.
Right.
But one of the things they've got to deal with is they got to deal with her nomination, because
that's right.
They officially she's not officially the nominee,
right?
Because she's got all the votes, but I think they were going to do that preliminary thing early with Biden, so that get it. Well, they may have done that because.
Well, he probably doesn't know that he's not running, which could be really sad, Yep.
Yeah, no, I think he does, because he did that interview in which he talked about Pelosi coming and telling him to.
She really threw him under the bus.
He did. He did.
Yep. Okay. Ronnie said that Bob Casey and I are going to build. Oh, okay. Cool. I am going to. Oh, by the way, I sold my Mavic 2 Pro.
Oh, did
So
you?
just waiting for the money to come in, and then I get ship it out. And then I'm still going to see if I could go to Minefield. I would love to go there, but I got so many bills I gotta take care of because
Right.
my big trip I'm going back to the Philippines and I need to save money, and I really would like to go back to the South Florida drone meetup.
Yeah.
That is a lot of fun. And that's more like a weekend event where
It is.
it's just a
It's
couple
about
days.
Yeah, it's at least a 4-day event if you put it all together.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to go this next time or not. Keep your money in your pocket. There you go. Yeah, I'm trying to, because I've got a trip to Colorado that I've got,
Right.
and I'm just going to have to wait and see at the end of the year where I stand. Right now, I'm sitting pretty good. I got a little. It's not really a gripe, but I get a bonus each year, and it's based off the cost of living and stuff like that.
Right. Yep.
But it's because it's the highest I've ever gotten, which shows that the cost of living is up.
Yep.
Okay. But it was 48 cents short of being an even $1,000.
Oh boy.
$999.52. The cheap bastards couldn't even round it up 48 friggin' cents.
Yeah.
It's like, really? You couldn't give me the 48 cents? I mean, come on. Cheap bastards.
Come on, man. You dog-faced pony soldier.
Yeah. But yeah, it just shows the cost of living, because that's the highest one of that bonus.
Yeah, that's right. And it's supposed to go up again this year as well.
Oh yeah.
It won't be as big as last year, but
this is a one-off bonus check I get every year, and this didn't have anything to do with my retirement, but
okay.
This is, well, it does. It's a part of my retirement, but it's a one-off check I get every year.
Oh, cool.
Cool. And it comes. But yeah, I saw that 48 cents, the cheap bastards. It rounded up to zero. It would have been so much easier just to zero it out,
Yeah, well, but Lloyd, look at all the other people. If we did that, then we'd be short of money. We gotta have the, the books, the balance, and we can't run a deficit.
Yeah, and the chances, it was just odd that mine fell that way.
Yeah,
and actually, yeah, because everybody who gets that bonus in their retirement, they would have all got the same amount, because it's the same across the board. So, if you take however many people are able to get that bonus and give each one of them 48 cents, that would add up to a lot of money.
Right.
So. Yeah. I guess I saved the nation some money off of some of one of my military retirements. So I saved the nation some more by not receiving my 48 cents.
That's half a stamp.
Yeah. It used to be 2 stamps at one time.
Yeah. Yep, I remember back in the day when a stamp was 8 cents.
I do too.
Yeah, that was back in the 60s.
Well, they were 20 cents for the longest time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they say 20 cents for a long time, and then they just started.
Oh yeah. Well, because
ridiculous.
It's the post office. The government runs it, and it's never recorded a profit. It's
No.
always in the hole, a couple $1 billion. And it's like, And we got other alternatives. We got this thing called FedEx and what a U.S. Yeah,
UPS,
UPS, yes.
United Parcel Service.
And DHL sometimes. Yeah. So
DHL's more for
that's more
continental.
foreign, shipment.
Yeah, overseas shipping.
Overseas, yeah. What else we got? We got the DNC coming up shortly. Robert Robert F. Kennedy Jr. off the ballot in New York.
Oh, he is off?
What say you, Charles? How you feel about that? You're saving democracy.
Don't blame me for the crap that people I didn't vote for do.
Yeah, that's true. And here Democrats are always screaming about we need to save democracy. Yeah, then why are you keeping people off of ballots? I mean, isn't that democratic? I don't know.
Yeah,
they tried to get Trump off the ballot, and funny thing about here in Colorado we have a thing. Every couple of years we have a thing called retaining our judges.
Yeah, we do too.
And we have some state Supreme Court justice that are coming up for retention. And, I'm going to find out which one of those idiots who decide that hey, we should get Trump off the ballot, and find out which one it is and not retain him. But, they get retained anyway because people don't know better. They just mark okay. Either they mark okay or no. Yes or no.
I put no on all of them because I figure they've been there since the last election.
Yeah.
I'm going to get rid of them. But, one election is long enough.
Yeah. Now, here in Colorado, they do have an age limit for state Supreme Court. Once you hit 72, you have to retire.
Oh, well, that's fair.
Maybe we should start doing that with I don't know, the appellate courts and
but
possibly
again, once you start down that road, where do you stop?
Right. Mm-hmm.
We've got things in place that work. When you start saying, well, we've got to limit this group, well, now you're doing what the other people are saying. Well, we need to limit the Supreme Court. We need to.
Right.
And all of a sudden, we're starting to mess with our Constitution.
Justice.
Yeah, and we're interfering with our justice system. Now, grant you, some of it needs to be interfered with, but that's why the president is able to put forth an appointment, and then the Senate and the Congress has to approve that, or the Senate has to, and that's the checks and balance system.
Yep, that's true, Michael.
Yeah.
Now we have term limits on the president. Hey, shouldn't we have term limits on Congress or the Senate?
I do, but that.
I mean, a lot of states have term limits on their legislation, and their because for a long time they didn't have that in Colorado. We had one guy that was a representative in Denver, and he was in the state legislature for 20 years.
Oh, yeah. We had a guy in that was in for 40.
And, Roy Romer and Dick Lamb served 3 terms.
Yeah.
That's 12 years. And it was right after Roy Romer that they put in term limits for Well, for all the legislature,
Right.
because I don't even know if they had any term limits for the AG, the Secretary of State, and Treasurer.
Yeah.
Now we have that. I mean, it goes all the way down to the local levels now.
Right.
Because we have term limits for municipal elections and county commissioners. They have term limits for that now. So
yeah, we had right after I moved here, they had one of the biggest national scandals of county commissioners, and I mean it went back 50, 60 years, where these guys, part of their salary, at least that's what they made, the assumption was made, didn't matter which party, but part of their salary was kickbacks they got from contracts they gave to people in the county.
right. Mm-hmm.
And it turned out, no, that's not part of your salary. And there's a lot of people have been taking it, not realizing, because their predecessor had taken it and they were told this is just how we do business. And some of them, it was the county commissioner scandal in 1980. I think it went for, it ran for 2 or 3, and there was a bunch of people went to federal prison for that. Some of them truly believed that was, exactly. They call the right fascist, and they don't even look at the situation where those people were sitting on their front porch under the VP nomination. What's his name?
Walz.
Walz. Yeah. When the city was burning down, and these cops come down through this neighborhood and they fire off paintballs or rubber bullets at these people sitting on their own porch because a curfew had been put in, and they didn't fire any of those officers. And
wow.
There wasn't even any rioting or marching going on. That was in another part of the city,
right?
And he just, he didn't make any. The cops were out of line. They were under his authority at that point, and it's showing what sort of fascism what sort of fascist he really is.
Right.
I've seen the video, and it's just it was a guy that does, he's a pro law enforcement, pro LE and LEO, but he said this was out of line. He says he didn't care. This was out of line. These people are sitting on their front porch, and according to the regulations dealing with that, the law that was being used at that point, they were inside their own private domestic area and not subject to that. And he said, had it been me, because it's nighttime, you start seeing these muzzle flashes coming out of this, and he said, had it been me, he says, I'd have taken cover and returned fire. Right. And he says they're just lucky, but it was, and this is what this guy that's running for this the VP nominee right now. This is the way he does things. Yep. He's a fascist of the worst kind. Yep. It's just scary. Yep. But
that's right. And so it's weird how they want to have their cake and eat it too, and they don't want to. Oh, Lloyd's gone. I guess he's all right. Clearing his throat out. So that got that going on. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in Chicago this week. And Ronnie, you know what? I do think that Minnesota does have pretty strict gun laws. It's mostly in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, maybe up in Duluth, because those are heavily Democratic
I
areas.
think the urban areas have pretty but But the country, the rural areas, they're not like that.
Right. Oh, and
And there's a lot
speaking
of rural because there's a lot of hunters out there.
speaking of Minnesota, did you hear Ilhan Omar survived her primary? Yeah.
She
So
did.
that, yep,
Well, we got 2 of them off there, anyways.
yep, we got, yeah. So that just goes, well, either the Jewish population in that district is either dumb or very small, which I think is probably very small.
Well, I think where she's at is a very, because isn't she the one that is
From Somalia.
Somalia, and
Yeah.
that area that she lives in is that's where a lot of the Somalis ended up settling when they came here.
Right.
So
Mhm.
yeah, that's probably very, very small Jewish base there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking of as well.
Yeah, no.
Where the other 2 members of the squad, they do have large population of Jewish people in their district, and that's how they lost.
Yeah.
You know?
Not only
Mhm.
that, but apparently AIPAC was spent heavily in taking down one of those. I think was it Cori Bush? It was
Right.
spent like $8 million on Cori Bush's opponent,
Yeah.
Oh, good.
and then they took flack for not getting involved with Ilhan Omar's opponent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Omar's one. Here's something. What do you guys think of Tulsi Gabbard is helping as part of the prep team for Donald Trump and his debate with Kamala?
That would be
I think
good
it's a good
because
move.
she's was part of that group, and hopefully she could steer him in a direction to keep him on point where he's not going off on attacking her personally,
Yeah, well, one of the things is that she was the one responsible, but she's the one who ripped. I mean, that's when she made a name for herself when she was running for the Democratic nomination.
Right.
She tore Kamala up. She basically forced Kamala, put Kamala in such a bad light that's why she lost and ended up dropping out with zero electorates. So, yeah, and that's the reason he's hired her, because she knows how to deal with Kamala.
Mm. Oh, and also RFK Jr. is not endorsing Kamala. Yeah.
I'm froze up again.
Oh, yep. Now you are frozen. So, yeah, even though he's running third party, he's still caucus with the Democrats. We'll bump him out until he comes back. Oh, now he's back. Yeah.
What had happened is, I think I figured out. I know what the problem is. I've just got to do something. It's kind of hot in this area, and I think where I have that at, it's enclosed on 2 sides, so I'm going to have.
Yes.
And it's getting warm, so it
Yep.
gets warm and it starts cutting out. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put a fan pointing in that direction.
There you go. Yep.
And 2 is what I forgot to do is I didn't switch completely on my iPad. I didn't switch. I just used the cellular data until the Wi-Fi came back on, and I should have shut the Wi-Fi off, because now I'm on my 5G and it's going to be okay. So
good.
So I went in and switched it off completely. So
what I was saying before you left us was RFK Jr. is not endorsing Kamala Harris.
No.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yep. Yeah. No, he's definitely anti-Democrat right now, because they did him they've done him dirty.
Oh yeah, they did, and like I said, New York has kicked him off the ballot. I wonder if that'll get, turned around, or they get forced into putting them back on. And he just came here through Colorado, in my
Right?
almost my neighborhood, and hopefully, I'm hoping that he peels enough Democrat votes that he helps Trump, flip some of these light blue states.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I there's about four different I can't say pollsters because they don't really they're not strictly just
yeah,
pollsters.
they're analysis guys. Yeah, they take the
Yeah.
data and they
Yeah.
come up with their
And-
analysis of what
and
they
yeah,
think
and
might
I'm
happen.
seeing I saw there was a little shift towards Kamala, but when
Yeah,
nothing was major, it never really shifted that much,
right.
unlike what they're trying to show in state by state groups, like, oh, they're just, but in the national, they're still showing Trump winning, and now it's actually looking like it's starting to shift even stronger in his favor, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, and I think part of it is, once people start hearing what her, platform is, like
Yeah.
price controls, people, at least the moderate wing of the, the undecided, they'll
Right.
start
The independent.
over
Yeah.
to Trump and say, well,
Yeah.
I think I trust Trump more on the, and we'll get to see how well she speaks off of a teleprompter at this convention, because who knows
Yeah.
if will she revert to let's be unburdened what has been. Hmm. Yeah, and start back on her word salad days. So we'll see how that goes.
Not to be disparaging, but I honestly think I could come closer to understanding Bucky giving a speech compared to what she says most times.
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I'm looking forward to my new Demi and practicing out with him, learning how to use the controls, and that'll be
I'm in the process of doing. Had a couple other things come up that I needed to take care of, but
right.
he's. I ordered some more brushes because there's some more highlighting I'm wanting to do. I got them
Right.
in
Hmm.
this weekend, so I'm going to be working on that, and I'm to that point where I'm just about ready to. Actually, I've already started on the mechanics. I've got to. I actually went over and went over to Harbor Freight yesterday, and because in the back of the eyes I use a spring on each eye, and it helps snap it back to center. And
Okay.
plus, I've also just ordered a book from. It's one that's been out of print for years, but it's on how to build a dummy. And one of the ventriloquist guys, he's a ventriloquist, he's a magician, and he runs a magic shop,
Ooh.
and which is part of ventriloquism too. And he
Uh-huh.
got copies of the original book that the original author who's still alive, but it's been
Right.
out of print for 40 years. And
Oh.
so I texted, he said, I've got these. And I just hammered it. And I looked at it real quick because he put up some pictures. I said, I want. And I've already paid for it. And it'll be shipped out tomorrow. And he says, yeah, I got you covered, Lloyd. So he said, I'll put one
Awesome.
back for you. So
Mm.
then I paid him immediately on PayPal. And he says, it goes out Monday. So,
Awesome.
and that will help me with some other stuff, even though I do 3D printing. The mechanics are the mechanics, and I'm trying to define my style of mechanics in there, and that's what I'm working on now. But yeah, I mean, he's coming along. He's
Good. Yeah.
now he doesn't have his final coat on, and he doesn't have his varnish finish on, so
Right.
he's a little dull right now when I get him.
Right.
And I'm gonna bring in I'm gonna highlight some more stuff around here, and get in some of these different shades and stuff. But when I'm done, I think you'll be happy with it. And
Awesome. Yeah,
So-
I'm really stoked. Looking forward to it. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, so it'll probably be because I got about 6 other things I'm trying to do at the same time. So I do one thing, and then I get tired of that for a day or two, and then I move to something else. So I'm about ready to get back in because I've got one I'm making for me that I haven't started on yet.
Okay.
And it's
Cool.
it's completely it's going to be more. It's going to look more like me. It's going to be more grumpy, crabby than this guy is. But anyway, so
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've got some ideas for like face shapes for dummies, and one of these days I'll have to sit down and kind of do a sketch, and what I'll do is I'll send it over to you and say, what do you think of that? And
yeah,
get some ideas, get kind of a custom look to it rather than taking a generic look, and
yeah, and I can customize it. I could have customized this one. I just this particular one. The reason you're getting is because I had an extra head that I was just going to toss anyways, and I thought, okay. And then I changed the way I was going with all of it, and I thought, well, all right, you're going to get this one. I'm going to finish it, but I have the stuff to customize any of them off of any of these. You give me the basics of what you want, and then I can try to customize it. I've got the stuff to do it. It will take a little longer. It'll still be done off of a 3D printed, because these are you're getting this one here. You're getting basically just as is, the way, which is what I've done. But if I did another one, it would be, if you wanted certain features on it, and if I have a head pattern that fits that, as a base, because
okay.
I'm not good enough at designing it from the bottom up. That's done in Tinkercad.
Okay.
I don't know how to do that, so I have to have an STL file that's already there, but I can build on those. I've got the putty and all that stuff that I can build on that and customize it.
Cool.
So it will take a lot longer, and it will be more expensive, I guarantee you.
Yeah. Well, everybody in the chat, I want to thank you for coming to the show, and hopefully we made this informative and somewhat entertaining. And hope you all have a great week, and it'll be exciting to see what happens this week at the convention. You all have a great weekend, and God bless you. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Take care,
Good night,
everyone.
folks.
God bless America.